So, Minister, let's start by looking at the policy, the reforms that have been taking place. After a paralysis for almost 1 year, the government seems to be really getting back in the reform mode, and some moves have been initiated. As far as urban development ministry is concerned, do you think all the necessary reforms have been undertaken and that the place is now set for foreign investors to come in?
See, first, this policy paralysis concept is erroneous. Uh, Reforms is a continuous process. It's not that it's got to happen uh, uh, one after the other. You've got to let one set of reforms consolidate and kick in before you bring in another set of reforms. Uh, Obviously, there has to be a timing, there has to be political consensus, and there's got to be wide consultations. So you can't call that paralysis in any way. Where urban affairs are concerned, the real challenge is urban infrastructure. Urban infrastructure deficit we have is profound because urban infrastructure is one thing which hits you daily on your face. Airports, when you're traveling, roads, when you're highways, when you're going. But urban infrastructure stares you on its face every day. We have this huge urban infrastructure deficit. And with the rapid urbanization which is taking place in India, spurred by a young population, which is far more mobile than a much older population, this is another big problem. There are a lot of people are moving to the smaller municipalities. A lot of people are moving from the smaller to the medium-sized municipalities. So medium-sized to the large municipal areas. So in this, there is a huge challenge which we have. And Government of India, for the first time 7 years ago, decided to support the state governments in their efforts on a project-based, reform-based. Our biggest challenge is capacity building. We got to have the experts at the municipal level. We got to have people with knowledge, with experience at the municipal level. It's not just wanting to do something. You must have people who can frame a project. You got to have people who can conceive a project and then execute a project. Now, this is an area which requires the highest priority.
Okay. How are you getting there?
Well, we've allocated a large amount of funds for capacity building. And we are sensitizing state governments that without capacity building and having a dedicated municipal cadre, it's not going to work. So we are moving ahead in that. In the meantime, we continue to assist the states in supporting their infrastructure projects for municipal areas.
Okay. Do you see a role for foreign companies?
Well, we have French companies who are in joint ventures.
Yeah.
We have French companies who are participating in the PPPs.
Yeah.
In fact, one of them I inaugurated myself. So France is a country which has huge experience in PPP.
Absolutely.
France has had a seminar on PPP, and this continuous engagement where both governments are encouraging the private sector in France and our municipalities in India to partner for projects which are incremental to our urban infrastructure.
Okay. But do you think this has reached anywhere close to its potential?
No, it's still the tip of the iceberg, but it is gaining momentum substantially.
Okay. Quickly, I want to go. Okay. Land is a big challenge in India, and I think that also becomes a challenge for urban development.
No, you see, if India is a very dense country, if from the total land mass of India you were to take away the mountains, the forests, the deserts, the water bodies, and the deserts, you find that India is a very dense country. So land use is a very critical area for India, optimum land use and optimum utilization of land. So our 12th five-year plan talks about optimum utilization of land. So we are now approaching it from that point of view.
Just last question. Last time we had discussed, the financial health or the lack of financial health of the municipalities, and so what has the government done, or what can the government do to boost that so that these municipalities can then go out and take?
Well, we are supporting the municipalities. I had asked one of the agencies international agencies to do a financial study of some of our large municipalities, and I was very happy that they came up that several of them were bankable and were in position to issue municipal bonds. But the others are way behind. And now with this consciousness, there is now moving towards discipline, financial discipline, so they become financially viable, and they get a proper financial status.
Okay. Do you have any targets that you set for these kind of?
Well, I think
activities?
it's in another 2 years we should be able to do this.